Hey, hi guys, and welcome to Chaos to Christmas. Today we are going to be talking about what we are doing because we are about 63 days until Christmas, I think. We're at least under 65 days until Christmas, which is insane. But I would share with you guys the things that I have accomplished up to this point in the last 2 weeks and what I plan to do in the next 2 weeks. So we are officially doing bi-weekly updates. If you haven't checked out my other ones, I will link the playlist and I will tag the other videos. I'm so excited that so many of you guys are as excited as I am for Christmas. I am just like, I feel like we all need it. You know, this year has been tough and I feel like we need some happiness, you know, but we're also trying to do life, right? And it's a bit overwhelming to try to do it all. And so I find that preparing early helps me in the future. So, anywhoozits, the last 2 weeks I told you I was going to be purchasing the big items, like the priority items. And I told you that I was going to start decluttering and cleaning out the garage and the closets. I'm going to say that I did purchase and prioritize the bigger items, which felt really good. And then I did not get to the garage or the closets. We had a lot of rain. I have a lot of excuses. There's a lot that went on, but they didn't get done. So now those are moving to priorities in the next 2 weeks or thereafter. As I've mentioned before, this is not something that we are like holding ourselves prisoner to. It's supposed to be fun. So if things that I mentioned you aren't interested in doing, don't do them. Add something else to your task list. For instance, if I were planning to prep cookies ahead of time and freeze them, which I've heard of a lot of people doing, I would maybe start thinking about that. Maybe planning out those kind of cookies and start purchasing to prep for those cookies. Now, I don't do that. I don't know, maybe one day I will, but this season of life, I don't enjoy that. I like to have like a cookie day where we just, do a bunch of different cookies. But yeah, so I would say that if you are a big baker and you want to prioritize that, I would start thinking about purchasing those baked goods items that you need. Well, the items and ingredients that you need to create those baked goods. It's also smart to prepare space in your freezer, so clean out your freezer, start pre-prepping those things and putting them in and having a spot for them. Motorbikes. And another thing that I am doing is now, leading up to Christmas, I'm trying to think of things that are frozen easily that would help me in the future. And so I've been buying some meat in bulk and then freezing half of it and keeping some in the fridge. And that just kind of helps on cost for me and kind of like, okay, I could make a spaghetti dinner if I was hosting people. So I'll just get double the meat this time because it's on, sale. Things like that. Start like thinking about that preparation of hosting, because if you're like me, you enjoy having people over during the holidays. I feel like right now with sports and everything, you don't have any time to host people, but then I feel like sports end and you kind of have this opening of availability for that space. So yeah, just starting to prep those spaces, your freezer, clean it out, start to look at what you have, start to eat the things in your freezer to make room, and start to prepare to purchase things to make your baked goods if you want to prepare early. Okay, so the next thing that I wanted to share is that I did purchase some items for Christmas lists. So at this point, Polly is done from myself and Sean. Her stuff is all done. And the boys, I am over halfway there. I think I have like 3 more things to purchase for each boy and their stockings I need to do. But everything else is done. And then I have not started on other presents. I am really trying to keep it pretty minimal this year. And so we're trying to do more like thoughtful gifts. And so I need to start prepping and thinking about our Secret Santa with my siblings and my dad's side of the family. I'd like to have that all planned out and organized to kind of announce everyone's Secret Santa at Thanksgiving when we're there. And like I mentioned last time, I need to do the grandparents' gift so that I can have it wrapped and ready to give them on Thanksgiving, so they'll have it for Christmas since we won't be in Georgia for Christmas. So those are some things that I'm going to be working on and kind of mulling over and possibly doing in the next 2 weeks. We have a little bit more time, but I don't know. I don't want to like get to the bitter end and then be stressing out about it. You know what I mean? Okay, and I don't remember if I mentioned this in the last video, but I have been thrifting and looking at Marketplace and places like that in order to stay on budget. Specifically with my daughter, she really likes American Girl things. I think I did mention this. So that always is a very good idea with toys. So many times kids barely play with their things and people are selling them on Marketplace or at thrift stores, stuff like that. So we have really tried to do that in areas that we can. I also like to ask my friends, like, what are your kids asking for? What are some good ideas that are for gifting in that age range? If you guys would like for me to do kind of a gift, what to give certain ages, I would love to do that. I love gift giving. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know below. But yeah, I've got my list. I know exactly what I'm purchasing. I just am like trying to allot it to different paychecks, if that makes sense. The other thing that I wanted to share is that, like I said before, we are constantly decluttering and making space, because if you are like me, once it becomes Christmas, I like for the house to be decorated, but I like for it to feel, you know, not as cluttered. So in order to do that, I really like to do like a deep clean and do all of that. So in the next, like probably month, I'll be deep cleaning the house in those spaces that I know that I'm gonna be putting Christmas decor, you know, the fireplace mantle in the fireplace and the walls behind here, all that kind of stuff. And like I said, the closets, the garage, places that I know that I'm not going to be able to give a lot of attention to, and I'm going to just want to throw my decorations up. So those are things that I'm doing. The other thing that I am doing is trying to purchase wrapping items as, you know, I see things and I can grab them. Just have been grabbing things, tape, ribbon, all of that. I mentioned that in the other video, but I've been still doing that. And that has felt really good too, so that way, as it gets closer and closer and I really am ready to start wrapping, I have those items available. The other thing that I did was I purchased a big black box to put all those items in, and I've found like a space that I really like that is a good hiding space for all of the presents. So that has felt really good to have a space for all of the things that are coming in. And yeah, I've been working on the kids to get their wish list items prepared and ready for family members or Santa, stuff like that. So that's felt really good too, kind of solidifying all of those things. We also have a birthday in November, so I really like for November to be about Thanksgiving and my son's birthday, and then we go into the Christmas season. So we really try to give November its moment and then move on. I wanted to leave this video with questioning, when do you decorate for Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, whatever you celebrate? When do you decorate? I feel like everyone does different, and I love to hear when everybody's tradition is. For us in our family, we kind of just decorate when we want to, but I will say that we typically don't decorate until after Thanksgiving, just because, like I said, we have a birthday and, you know, we're out of town for Thanksgiving. But sometimes I will throw up the Christmas tree mid-November, and then we'll come home from Thanksgiving and decorate it. So leave me in the comments below when you decorate. What are some things that I'm missing that were this close to Christmas? What should I be adding to my list? Let me know. I also will be purchasing a Christmas planner that will be in the next 2-week update. So we'll see you next time. Love your faces, and let me know what you're doing to prepare for the holidays. All right, bye y'all.